What up, what up, what up? No Cap Conversations. Yo, we're gonna get right into it because this is probably gonna be a short live just because we're just getting started and all that good stuff. But just so you know, every Tuesday through Friday in the evenings at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we may push it back to 7. I haven't decided yet. We're going to be doing these lives. And the reason why I want to do these lives every day is because you may be experiencing something unique every day. And I kind of want to give you something that you can try on for size to see how it fits you when it comes to your attitude, your aspirations, your abilities, as well as your alignments. My goal with the dressing room is to help 500,000 men. So it's a grand vision and a grand goal to help 500,000 men find and align their identity with their image. So this is not just about finding some cool things to wear, going to GQ or Esquire and looking at their magazines and saying, doing the 5 things that every guy needs to do. That's not to say that I won't do those things, but I'll be having a conversation about who that actually would resonate with the most and why it would in a given situation or in a given perspective. So this is kind of a marriage between I always say like Hitch and style, or queer eye for the straight guy, except this is a straight guy, straight eye for the straight guy type of conversation, because I do want to cover all things lifestyle. And as we continue to build this will be a cultural conversation. This will be a home type of conversation. All these different types of elements will come together. But this year, from 20 to 2021, we will be talking about mindsets and your personal expression. So we'll be talking a lot about style, but I want to show you how all of those different types of things correlate together. Now, I said all that to say, when we're doing no cap conversations, it will be a whole lot of mindset stuff, a whole lot of perspective things that, again, I do not claim to be I claim to be an expert, but I don't claim to be a know-it-all about. So I am a very steady person when it comes to style. I am a proficient person when it comes to psychology, and showing you how to put those things together, or how those things show up in social interactions and social dynamics, as well as our mindsets for how we move, is something that is very important. And so you're getting some game. I come from an era where the OGs used to say that the game is to be sold, is not to be told. But as I've told people on my Instagram at Style Architects, all you have to do is pay attention. But paying attention in this new world is a lot more difficult than I think people give credence or credit to. So on Fridays, said all that to say, on Fridays I'll be answering questions from the week. If people have been leaving comments, I'll be leaving or answering those questions in more in depth, and you'll be able to interact with me one-on-one live. And I'll also be able to do some more demonstrations, so you may need to see an example of whatever I'm talking about, and we'll be able to provide those as well. This week, I just wanted to make sure that I wrapped up, and if anybody does have any questions when you're hopping on, by all means, leave them and I will answer them. Just leave them in the comments below, and I'll make sure that I respond to them. But I wanted to make sure that we just wrapped up the conversation of righteousness, the right way, the right of way, and then also understanding what's right for you. Because in the political climate, in the health climate, and all these different types of spaces, I've started to realize I have no right to impose or infringe upon your family's dynamics if it's not directly affecting mine. So if I am in my house, or I'm walking down the street and I see somebody who has a sign, because it's happened numerous times, but like you'll see somebody with the sign and then you feel compelled to go into their yard and say that they need to change their sign. This happened politically, of course. I don't have any right to do that. That's your private property. That's your personal space, and you have every right to position yourself the way that you want to. Now, I do have a choice of saying that's not a person that I would want to deal with, going forward. So I'm going to keep that in my mental Rolodex. So if they come over, with a pie or something, trying to welcome me to the neighborhood, I'd be like, nah, I'm good. I'm good, Brody. I see I see how your thoughts align. Or, I have no right to tell a person what to think or feel when it comes to their personal perspectives. However, I do have a right to respond accordingly. And so we've said this on our podcast. If you ever get the chance, check out the All Man podcast on all your streaming services. One of the things that we've always talked about is I got the right to say whatever the F I want to say, right? We curse on All Man podcast. But I have the right to say whatever I want to say there. Now, if that person, but I also need to deal with the consequences, because if that person pops me in the mouth because I was talking crazy or out of line and out of pocket, then I needed to be prepared, just as prepared for that as I was for talking out of turn, if that makes sense. And so I think that that is a very important element that so many of us forget when we were talking about just because it's your right, is it right to do? To make sure that we have that. And today I wanted to talk about understanding that it may not be right for everybody, but it still may be just right for you. And that's because when we come out into a lot of situations, especially when it comes into style, guys will say, like, I don't like that look. It's like, oh, okay, cool. You don't have to like that look. This look is for me. It's my thing. It's my personal expression. It's my perspective. And I already have the pillars, the things that we talked about when you need to have the right way to do things before you start breaking rules. Already have these things in line. So even if you don't like it, there's 3 reasons why these people may not like it. It may be that they don't understand it. So you may have something that is totally elevated, tasteful, elegant, refined, sophisticated. That's levels above, because it's levels to this, right? They're levels above wherever they are. And so they're just like, man, I don't like that. And then 10 years from there or 5 years from there, they may see that again and be like, oh man, I see what he was doing. That's actually dope. It doesn't align with their small vision or their small perspective. So there's a lot of people who've never traveled, and you could come in wearing a long garb, a piece of fabric with a collar, and somebody be like, "Man, I ain't never wearing no dress." Like, what are you talking about? I'm not wearing no dress. Like, you wouldn't wear a dress. Well, this isn't a dress. This is a a garb from Africa. This is a garb from the UAE, United Arab Emirates. Like, right? This is an Egyptian garb. All these different types of things, because they have a limited perspective of what things are supposed to look like, and that can also work against them. So about 7 or 8 years ago, everybody was trying to do the kilt movement when Kanye West claimed he was wearing a leather kilt. And because they did not have the exposure, street kids didn't have the exposure, even though they had access to the internet, they had not been properly exposed to what a kilt was. There was several things that were missing from that said, yo, this is actually a skirt. Like, this is a skirt because there are elements that are missing from how this needs to be put together. And it's not a judgment thing. This is not to impose judgment on anybody, but there were certain elements that made what Kanye was seeking to express factually incorrect, just based on the elements that were needed. But even though that may not have been right for a lot of people, it still may have worked and been right for him. And the same thing is true. When I'm getting my look together, people will say, I wouldn't put those colors together, but it looks great on you, right? People may say, man, I would have never have thought to put that type of ensemble together, but it looks great on you. You know what that means? That means that those things are right for you. And I didn't forget the third one. I was just wanting to encapsulate that. That means that you're on the right track for figuring out what works for you. The third thing that may happen is, so they don't have the access or the knowledge base, they don't have the perspective, or they're just hating, right? This is very real. There's people who are like, dang, man, I wish I could pull that off. Like, and the folks who are real will be like, man, I could never pull that off, but you look great in that. They'll still give you the love that you deserve. But then there'll also be haters like who will be like, man, that's whack. That doesn't look good. And you're like, nah, I don't even gotta go look in the mirror. I know I look good. This is on point. And they're just hating because they wish that they had the confidence. They wish that they had the character. They wish that they had the characteristics to pull off what it is that you have on, what it is that you are expressing also. Like, because it's not just about the clothes, right? It's about how you move in those clothes. There's nothing better than when you have something that actually fits you, and so you have great movement. I look like I'm a little buff in this because I got this extra sweater on, but like, you can move. So when I have this suit on, people are like, man, that's a great looking suit. That's a great looking ensemble. Like, you put that together well. Well, it's gonna be plenty of people be like, nah, man, he always trying to do too many dark colors and stuff. What is he supposed to be, a villain? Yes, if I need to be. Yes, I am. and here's where the villain lies. And one of the things I talk about in my personal coaching is the hero and then the villain, that we all need to have a bit of a hero. We need to have that hero consciousness and that hero movement, but we also need to have a bit of the villain. And you need to understand why that balance is necessary. If you ever study Carl Jung, then you know that we need to explore our shadow selves, because our shadow selves can give us insights into aspects of ourselves that the light or the enlightened side of ourselves would not give access to. So even though people will say, oh, that's not right, he's not doing that right, these things aren't going to be right, they may just be talking about themselves personally. They're not talking about you, because you have to figure out what is right for you. And there's numerous ways for you to do that. You can do the trial by error. You can get assistance and have coaching, or you can just take a step back and observe everything that's going on to see what is working on. That's going to lead you to the trial and error, and probably elicit coaching at some point. But we all need it. We all need to figure out what is right for us, because once we have what is right for us in play, then now we are experiencing a different type of freedom, a different type of liberation, because we are actually living our lives and not the lives that others have projected on us or have expected of us. We're living a life of expectation for ourselves. So I want you to try that on, see how it fits you. If you found this beneficial, go ahead and give me a thumbs up if you're watching the replay, and share this with 5 friends. Share this with 5 friends or on your Facebook if you found the information beneficial. And again, don't forget, we will be here. This is me. I will be here Tuesday through Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but you also will get 3 videos of concepts or precepts, constructive elements for your style, and then also communication or social communication every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday starting in 2 weeks. I'm going to get some content going and getting those things in place. And also make sure that you check out my Facebook page. Link is below, where you can find out more in-depth content where, you know, I'm writing some things and giving you that access as well. All right. So outside of that, be great today. But then again, you already know you're great. That's why you're here. That's why you're watching this replay. That's why you're watching this live. So above all, don't ever forget that dress is nothing more than the expression of a man's state of mind. So you, yes, you should always dress to express. I will see you next time. Peace.